Welcome along to the Olympic Tennis Centre on the Olympic Park in BARA to the west of Rio de Janeiro. For more from the football five-a-side, and we're coming towards the end of the competition now. Classification matches coming up in this session for 7th and 8th place and 5th and 6th place. And Morocco, Mexico will kick us off. Two teams competing in the football five-a-side at the Paralympic Games for the very first time, and ended perhaps unsurprisingly at the bottom of their groups, but they've provided much in the way of entertainment. And they've been warmly received by the crowds that have been building day by day. Yeah, it's humid. Humid again. It's been glorious the last few days. So the Moroccan team in the blue strip there, Mexico in the green. And Morocco did get a point in their final group match against Turkey. It was never going to be enough to get them into the semi-finals. That was impossible at that stage of the competition. They'd been beaten by Brazil and Iran, the two sides who qualified for the last four from that pool, Pool A, whereas Mexico were beaten by Argentina, China and Spain and haven't yet scored a goal. That'll be a key aim for them today. We'll start with the anthems.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Mexico.
E agora, senhoras e senhores, o hino nacional do México.
So with the anthems passionately sung, the players will all be introduced to the crowd. Morocco, who made a wonderful start to the competition, scoring against the champions Brazil through the number 9 there, Abderrazak HATTAB. He scored a quite brilliant goal and nearly scored a couple more in that match. Only 3 on the bench for Morocco today, and that's because Ahmed ELAZOUZI who's been perhaps their key player really, linking defence and attack, is injured and can't compete, and so too is Mohamed Daoudi, the squad's captain. So a couple of key players missing today for Morocco at the end of a tough campaign. Well, Mexico have been great fun. In particular, number 9, Rubicel de la Cruz, I think will entertain us today. There's been a late change to the Mexican team, and I think they even announced Christian Ortiz, the number 12, as the goalkeeper. He's on the team sheet, but that quite clearly is Javier AMOZURRUTIA, the number 1. So something's happened late in the day for Mexico. Yeah, he was announced as being on the bench, a Mexico goalkeeper. But that's right, Christian Ortiz is among the substitutes there. Pablo Millan on the right of picture is the squad's captain. Christian Jung takes charge, but Kleber Albuquerque will also be on the field as the second referee. If the two have a disagreement, then it's Christian Jung's view that takes precedence. So which of these two teams is going to get their first win of the competition? And we'll have penalties to sort things out if it's level at the end of the match. 25 minutes each way in the football five-a-side. Some of the athletes have a little bit of vision. Some are completely blind, so all wear the eye patches and then the blindfolds on top to make sure that none can see, apart from the goalkeepers who have sight, of course. It's relaxed now for Morocco at their first Paralympic Games in the football five-a-side, first ever African team to compete in the tournament. I think the level that they've reached regularly has been a good one. They've been competitive. His team too, though they haven't quite found a way through to score. Jorge Lanzagorta, the number 11, has had the most shots on goal of any Mexican player with 9. But it's Rubicel de la Cruz who's entertained the most. He's got an extraordinary sway of the hips and an ability to change direction, close control. A kind of maverick, entertaining spirit as well, which the Brazilian crowds have really enjoyed. It's been good to see a really young audience as well for the football five-a-side. Lots of kids have enjoyed watching. Both referees will check all the eye patches and the blindfolds of all the players, make sure that they're sealed down to their satisfaction. If a blindfold comes away during the course of the match, and the referee can stop the clock and call a refereeing timeout. It's imperative that everybody knows that there's fairness out there. And the refs will just say a good luck and a little friendly word to the coaches on the touchline. He's perhaps the coolest of the coaches, I think, Driss El-Muntaki. Here we go. So the match for 7th and 8th place at these Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. And Morocco in the blue against Mexico in the green. And it is Jorge Lanzagorta trying to locate the ball, which has those metal plates and ball bearings in. And when it moves, you can hear the rattling sound that it makes that the players use to locate its position on the field. But they're interpreting a variety of noises going on all around them all the time. The crowd has to be silent so that the players can concentrate and focus. Now here's De La Cruz, and you'll see what I mean. It's a good start by De La Cruz. And the first save by Ayoub SERRAKH in the Morocco goal. And he's got the ball immediately from the goalkeeper's throw too. SNISLA for Morocco. CRUZ with the interception for Mexico. Challenged by Houssam GHILLI initially. First clash by the kickboards. And it does get pretty physical, the football five-a-side. HATTAB sensed an opportunity to challenge there on Marco Ramirez Guerrero. And HATTAB has won it for Morocco, and unlucky with a little drag back and turn. So there are some flair players out there. HATTAB's had a very mixed tournament. This is BERKA though for Morocco. Slightly burlier, more direct approach from the Moroccan captain. SNISLA won it and then just seemed to be caught by Ramirez Guerrero. The referee thought twice about whistling but decided not to. And that's going to be a Morocco corner. That came off for Houssam GHILLI. There's the swift change of direction. So it will be LANZAGORTA from the corner, finding some space in the centre here. BERKA trying to close him down, and BERKA getting the challenge in. And conceding another corner. In the defensive third, it's always the goalkeeper who can talk to the defence and try and organise them. There's a guide behind the goal for the attacking team to do the same thing for them. Rubicel de la Cruz from the corner for Mexico. GHILLI was the man who got it away. And now here is HATTAB. Missed the last game against Turkey through injury, so I'm sure they're glad to get him back. And look at this run. Blocked by Ramirez Guerrero. Here's SNISLA. HATTAB has found it well again from the pass. Mexican defenders keeping close contact with him. It's a good tackle by Ramirez Guerrero. A little bit of a nudge from SNISLA. But the referees don't tend to stop it unless it's a really clear trip. SNISLA away from LANZAGORTA. Not conclusively though. And he worked that out well, LANZAGORTA. And then away from GHILLI. BERKA was the last man. Has stopped his progress well. The two number 9s battling. And it's HATTAB who comes away for it, for Morocco with it. Corner Morocco. SNISLA, little back heel. Got him away initially, but he was tackled soon after that. HATTAB scored that brilliant goal against Brazil in the first match and nearly scored a couple more. His ability to locate the ball in open field was extraordinary in that match. SNISLA from the corner. Guerrero again, just staying within contact of the forward and making it difficult. RANGEL has got it for Mexico here. A little bit of space for him to start going, and he's driven into it, and then GHILLI had located the runner and just lent in enough that it was impossible to get a shot away. You'll hear the shouts of voy from those players who don't have the ball. SNISLA. Well, good effort. He got it low and hard, but just curling away from that goalkeeper's left-hand post. Yeah, he sliced the shot. Did the young man SNISLA, who's only 17. First foul given against the Mexican team. You're allowed 3 team fouls per half. And then once you go past that mark, the opponents will get a double penalty, a penalty from the 8-meter mark. Direct shot at goal. Again, the voy is coming from the defenders. You have to let the attacker know where they are. De la Cruz here realized that there was a gap to the right-hand side. Couldn't take the ball swiftly enough into it. Of course, the player with the ball doesn't have to say anything because he's got the ball and that's making a sound all of its own. SNISLA, good close control here. Now he needs strength. Just a little extra on the touch. Crowd want to give him their appreciation, but the players need the silence, of course. Now HATTAB, bit of room to run here. Again, Guerrero, he's a very hands-on defender. LANZAGORTA. Oh, good effort. He got away from GHILLI and then hit it early with the left foot, and there was a good low strike. Goalkeeper SERRAKH had to react pretty swiftly there. Quite a long way out, but good effort all the same. De la Cruz turned back into HATTAB, not realizing that his opponent hadn't moved away from the boards where they'd initially clashed. SNISLA on RANGEL. He's little, but he's pretty fierce, RANGEL. SNISLA with a handoff. It's Guerrero covering his mate once again. Worked out well there that he had enough space to dribble it away and then clear. GHILLI away from LANZAGORTA. Worked out well, but his teammate was close and circumnavigated him. LANZAGORTA. Now, can he get away from GHILLI here? No, GHILLI Found the ball really well. Strong challenge. LANZAGORTA is by far the more direct of the two Moroccan forward players. That was his really good effort, which SERRAKH saved well. Ayoub SERRAKH. And it's Mexico who've called a timeout after 10 minutes and 29 seconds. A 1 minute break. Both teams have one timeout per half. Unlimited substitutions as well are available. There are a lot of players in this competition with terrific ball skills. But the more you watch it, the more you admire the variety of skills that, if you're just watching a normal football game, you kind of take for granted. An 11-a-side football game, I should say. And here it's the hearing and the interpretation of what's going on around these players that allows them to form patterns that seem to make sense to the casual viewer. But if you think about the amount of work that goes into organising a defence, for example, when none of them can see a thing, it's extraordinary. Well, that's where hours and hours on the training ground have come into it. BERKA. Well, he seemed to be held by Ramirez Guerrero, and he was complaining to that effect. Rubicel de la CRUZ, the entire Moroccan defence in front of him. Away from the first challenge from BERKA, and SNISLA came in. He's tried to go right the way through. Oh, that was unlucky. I think he had the right instinct as well to try and trap the ball in the penalty box before getting a shot away. Here he goes again. Now BERKA with the block that time. You'll note the goalkeeper can't come out of the goalkeeper's area, so he has to wait for the ball to drift into that box before he can pick it up. Sometimes that means that players can get very close to goal, and sometimes it means quite solid collisions between attackers and goalkeeper as they bear down on the net. SNISLA just tripped by Ramirez Guerrero. Here's that great back heel, straight through the centre. And he was nearly through. Well, it won't be a direct shot from this kind of range, but now they've got an idea where the goal is. Perhaps they can manoeuvre the defence one way. HATTAB couldn't get away through there. And here is de la CRUZ again. Just heard the noise from the guide behind the goal for Mexico there. Just increasing the volume of the call. And the instructions have to come so quickly and be interpreted so quickly that sometimes just the volume of the call gives the player an idea of that the position they're in is getting better and better and better. the combative Guerrero replaced. And Gustavo Arana on for the first time for Mexico. SNISLA encouraged to pick up speed. LANZAGORTA for Mexico. GHILLI had a bit of a hack at him. LANZAGORTA has used his body well. Goalkeeper correctly judged that that was going wide of the near post. Strong run again from Jorge LANZAGORTA. Now HATTAB has got away from De La Cruz here. And HATTAB, danger area. He's got it back. And AMOZURRUTIA was a little fortunate there. De La Cruz trying to switch the play for Mexico here for LANZAGORTA. He's went away from SNISLA. Now he's away from GHILLI too. And he's got a shooting chance. He just hasn't quite been able to wrap that left boot around it, running away from goal. Oh, tripped by SNISLA. That was the big chance for Morocco. First team foul against Morocco, called against SNISLA. HATTAB does have a knack for getting right into the penalty area, getting himself into really strong shooting positions. De La Cruz with some space to run here. And that's going to be... Yeah, it's De La Cruz has been penalised for obstructing there, because once he'd slipped and fallen on the ball, it's kind of painful fall as well, really. Doesn't seem to be any the worse for wear. But he is going to take a breather regardless, and Daniel Vieira is on. '19-year-old, one of 2/3 of the squad really come from San Luis Potosí. Club side that forms the bulk of the Mexican national team. Oh, LANZAGORTA. He could sense it coming, he could hear it coming. Just couldn't find the ball to get a good first touch on it. It did flick off a defender. That might have made it a little more difficult. They took it quickly while the goalkeeper was still organising. Vieira. Good swift run. Decisive. HATTAB straight from the goalkeeper and straight into the box. Arana helped out Rangel. LANZAGORTA collecting the long pass. Well, that was terrific. GHILLI with a tackle and GHILLI with the run. And was he tripped by Gustavo Arana? A little bit unfortunate not to get the free kick there. Good challenge by Arana. And another. Vieira. Won it back from BERKA and HATTAB. But SNISLA steps in. It's a little scrappy at the moment. Just over 5 minutes to half time. LANZAGORTA, it's a tough angle. Good battle with GHILLI, who gets it clear. Arana. HATTAB. Well done by Arana, chased him all the way back, and HATTAB, who has had one or two injury problems, might have just jarred a knee there with a big block tackle from Arana. And SNISLA, the young man, super keen. But he's been collecting fouls here and there throughout the tournament. Long way out. He went for it all the same. LANZAGORTA is confident on that left side. Morocco timeout with 4:25 to go in the first half. Powerful strike from LANZAGORTA, who'd moved it swiftly from the free kick to get away from the wall that was in front of him. Yeah, De La Cruz right throughout this tournament has been a one-man highlights reel. But he hasn't got the goal to show for it. You do get the sense that if he does score, it's not going to be a simple, straightforward affair. Might be worth waiting for. So the blindfolds are all checked, and we're set to resume with the closing stages of this first half. Mexico still looking for their first goal of this championship. Morocco hoping that they can end with the first win, having been competitive in Group A. Super tackle by Rangel on SNISLA. And here's Arana. Solid block by GHILLI. Nicely done by BERKA. You could see SNISLA running into trouble there. LANZAGORTA. Well blocked by BERKA. Othmane DRIOUCH is about to come on for Morocco. SNISLA doing well to disrupt, but defending from the front from the young Moroccan forward. Vieira has escaped. HATTAB. He's Morocco's danger man. Trying to get away from Rangel. He's hurt again, HATTAB, and Rangel emerges. Has he got the strength to try and push his way through GHILLI and BERKA? Well, they were a real unit there, the two at the back for Morocco. Knew exactly where one another was, and where the ball was, and where the opponent was. And dealt with the initial problem. Although GHILLI and LANZAGORTA, an awkward collision, and the referee is saying to GHILLI, you need to calm down a little bit. Well, they're grabbing hold of one another. Third team foul against Morocco. So less than 2 minutes to go in the first half. DRIOUCH for HATTAB is the call. HATTAB not moving particularly well. He's taken a couple of whacks again today. Can't believe he's 100% fit after missing a game 2 days ago through injury. Such a key player, he would have played. Yeah. Everybody's got their turn to speak out there, because it's the referee Christian Young is trying to get some order out there. It's right that both teams need to be able to hear clearly the instructions. So the Mexican free kick is right out on the boards on the right-hand side, 10 meters or so from goal, and LANZAGORTA moved it swiftly forward and cracked it. And actually, SERRAKH was a little surprised by the velocity there. Can Mexico get their first goal? An ambitious effort from the tightest of angles from LANZAGORTA there. He got it through the defender's legs. That made it tricky. Mexico with the more attempts. A couple of decent saves from the Moroccan goalkeeper. Arana, well stopped by GHILLI. He got a bruise for his pains as well. SNISLA. Minute 15 left in the half. 2 to beat here for Zouhair SNISLA. Ooh, a good save by AMOZURRUTIA off the shoulder. SNISLA again didn't get hold of that one. First time he really cracked it. The guy was trying to say to the referee that the goalkeeper had come out of his penalty box to get the defenders to try and push out onto SNISLA after he'd made the save. SNISLA again. Daniel Vieira. Just 19 years of age. Began playing visually impaired football only 4 years ago. And the first half ends with SNISLA unable to find a way through, and a degree of frustration for both teams. But SNISLA at the end of the half worked a good opportunity and forced an improvised save by AMOZURRUTIA in the Mexican goal. Both sides have had their moments, but neither can find the way through definitively. At half-time in this 7th and 8th place playoff, it's Morocco 0, Mexico 0.
Senhoras e senhores, final de primeiro tempo, 0 Marrocos, 0 México. E agora é a hora do nosso show do intervalo do futebol.
Well, Mexico perhaps proving why they failed to find the target in all of their matches so far. Promise around the penalty area, but not quite able to get through into good enough positions in the penalty area. A lot of shots from outside the box. A lot of skill that's looked good. But just the final touches close to goal that have let them down. But some dogged defending, some hard workers at the back that have made it difficult for all their opponents in this tournament. Good opponents too. They had a really tough group, Mexico. Argentina, China and Spain. Morocco also with some strong players at the back. BERKA and GHILLI have done well today. In the absence of Ahmed ELAZOUZI, who's been very good for them throughout the competition, they've coped pretty well. A lot of minutes for the young man SNISLA. Had a couple of good runs, a couple of good shots on goal. Not so much from HATTAB today, who began the competition in dramatic form, but hasn't really matched that since. De la Cruz started promisingly again. Early shot, comfortable save for SERRAKH. LANZAGORTA had a couple of good moments. That was a really good effort. Low down, just inside the post. That was the moment of skill of the half from De La Cruz. He nearly found his way through. That would have been outrageous. HATTAB, that was a dangerous moment because he was so close in. A little bit more height there. And that could have been Morocco in front. See, for all Mexico's possession here, they're shooting from outside the 6-meter box. That one came through a defender's legs and made it awkward. SNISLA got closer in here. And AMOZURRUTIA just making himself big in front of goal. Tough to beat. So who's going to find a way through here in the 7th and 8th place playoff? Half-time, Morocco 0, Mexico 0.
Senhoras e senhores, e depois de primeiro tempo muito equilibrado, fiquem nos seus lugares, o segundo tempo já vai começar.
So the teams are almost ready for the start of the second half. Good friendly atmosphere with the referees out there. And pleasant conditions for watching the football too. So here we go for the start of the second half in the playoff for 7th place between Mexico in the green and Morocco in the blue. Mexico have brought back on Rubicel de la Cruz for the start of the second half, the number 9. And they've changed their goalkeeper also, with Christian Ortiz now in place of AMOZURRUTIA. Unlimited changes that the coaches can make during the course of a match. 25 minutes to find the first goal. And Morocco with the first corner of the second half, which it looks like Othmane DRIOUCH is going to take. Arana was swiftly out to him, got a good handle on where the ball was. And DRIOUCH has fouled him as the two players came away. LANZAGORTA looking for the pass to De La Cruz. Found it swiftly, moved away from the first defender, but then DRIOUCH showed him back in field. And that was the end of that. Here's Arana this time. Yeah, good challenge by GHILLI, whose arm was grabbed and he was pulled back. So that's one team foul apiece in the opening 2 minutes of this second half. GHILLI had gone forward for that diagonal ball. Here he is with LANZAGORTA. And GHILLI strong enough to emerge down the boards, but really well-timed tackle by Arana. I think he's been good today, Arana. And he might go all the way here. Well, was there just a little pullback from MAKKAOUI, who's on for Morocco? No complaints. Good run, though, really good run. And MAKKAOUI just staying close enough to stay in contact, didn't do anything wrong. This is DRIOUCH. And DRIOUCH right the way through. Oh, he had a couple of goes, but couldn't quite locate it in the box. Now, Morocco had a couple of players upfield, but they're back now. Well intercepted by GHILLI. MAKKAOUI. Well won by DRIOUCH for Morocco here. Arana well in. DRIOUCH reacted well after the tackle, knew where it was, and has hunted it down. LANZAGORTA in for Mexico. GHILLI went in, tidied it right up. Now, one-on-one here. RANGEL just bided his time. That was really good, patient defending. Could have been a serious problem, that, for Mexico. As it is, RANGEL might fancy a run himself. Now, a super play from Francisco RANGEL. Difficult for him to barge his way past BERKA, who's a substantially larger man. But he nearly managed it. Forced the corner. Arana for De La Cruz. DRIOUCH was right out there before they'd taken it, really. Arana. He was on the floor when he took the shot. Houssam GHILLI, head coach giving De La Cruz the call that he was the closest defender. Diagonal from Arana in search of De La Cruz. Three defenders are there with him. No way through again. MAKKAOUI. Finds DRIOUCH with a pass. Arana again for Mexico. Really good plays away from two here. Now it's still there for him. And he's found it close to goal, Arana. Oh, he's unlucky again. Just came off MAKKAOUI, didn't it? Well, the big defender, credit to him for sticking to his task. Arana trying to turn away from GHILLI. Now LANZAGORTA. Out by MAKKAOUI. Call was for the switch of ball to the other flank. And well won by BERKA. What a clean pickup that was. De La Cruz's back heel was for LANZAGORTA, but needed it to be along the boards, really. LANZAGORTA stuck at it. And still, oh, and What an important foot in that was by GHILLI. Moroccan changes. And HATTAB is on the way back for them. HATTAB was the leading scorer in the African Championship last year. Got a couple of goals against Cameroon in the final. Football five-a-side in Africa growing, but Morocco the first side from that continent to compete here, and compete they have. Good hand for Gustavo Arana, who's had a good game today. Marco Ramirez Guerrero joins the defensive unit. HATTAB from the corner for Morocco. And Rubicel de la CRUZ with a strong block tackle. And now Ramirez Guerrero. GHILLI is tremendously persistent. HATTAB couldn't beat Ramirez Guerrero. Nice little turn by LANZAGORTA. And now on his left foot, a second chance. When he nearly got it through. And LANZAGORTA and BERKA had a little bit of a wrestle after that. Well, LANZAGORTA, first time had no joy, but he located it swiftly. Ended up with BERKA completely on top of him. Don't know quite why BERKA stayed there for so long. That was the thing. So Morocco's two forwards have had a breather and are now back on, SNISLA and HATTAB. Can they find the breakthrough? Just over 15 minutes to go. Ramirez Guerrero, another good tackle on HATTAB. He's getting very little change out of the little number 5. SNISLA won it well for Morocco, just inside Mexican territory. Swift little change, room for the shot, but comfortable enough save by Ortiz. LANZAGORTA at the other end. BERKA again, his old foe, in the way. Sent both the defenders the wrong way there, SNISLA. Before RANGEL could react, he got the shot away. Omar Otero, forward from Puebla, is on. He's tended to have fleeting appearances during their previous matches, Mexico.
Cárgate al centro, a tu izquierda. A tu izquierda, izquierda. ¿Sí ahí?
15 minutes to go, and the clock starts once again. Who will finish 7th at these Paralympic Games? Morocco finished bottom of Pool A. Mexico were 4th in Pool B. Mexico still looking to score a goal for the first time in Paralympic football five-a-side. Here's Houssam GHILLI for Morocco in the blue. Perhaps the two most determined players, GHILLI for Morocco and Ramirez Guerrero for Mexico. HATTAB, that was nicely done. Oh, and surprising power on the strike. And he reacted to the rebound well as well. SNISLA comes in. Morocco threatening here. Oh! Against the post by SNISLA. LANZAGORTA at the other end. Never found the contact with that one, but SNISLA did, and he's really unlucky. Swift turn, we've seen that before, and the high shot swinging away from Ortiz. And the guide's reactions are always great behind the goal. Living every second of it. Best moment of the match from Zouhair SNISLA. And very nearly his second goal of the competition. And if he got a second, then he'd be in very good company, because only Ricardinho, the Brazilian superstar, has managed to score more than once in this tournament so far. SNISLA, RANGEL was trying to play the ball. Here's Omar Otero having a run. And there's that man GHILLI again for Morocco. SNISLA feeling confident perhaps after striking the upright a short time ago. But he's bundled Ramirez Guerrero over there, and that will be a foul against Morocco. Well, AMOZURRUTIA evidently saying a bit too much from the sidelines. That will be the problem there. RANGEL did have a bit of a crack at SNISLA in the penalty box there. Referee was very well placed. Pretty much the midway point of the second half. Mexico call for a 1-minute break. Are we going to need a penalty shootout to separate these two teams? Plan is for the goals to get slightly bigger in the near future. In the planned rule book from 2017. Goals are currently 2 meters by 3 meters. Plan is for them to increase in height to 2 meters 14 and increase in width to 3 meters 66. Had 3 goalless games so far out of the 12 in the group stage. Here's this moment by SNISLA. What a good effort that was. And Christian Ortiz was certainly beaten. Bit of attention for the eye patches here of LANZAGORTA before he's set to continue. Second referee, Kleber Albuquerque of Brazil, supervising that. Marco Ramirez Guerrero restarting play for Mexico. Trying to find Otero. Otero wins it back well. GUILLI always feeling for the striker's position. LANZAGORTA. Good strike there. Keeper stood up strong. Well, he's kept on going, LANZAGORTA. And there's a foul here for Morocco. Central area, only what, 9-10 meters out. HATTAB has won the free kick. And a yellow card for Ramirez Guerrero in there. Gustavo Arana is going to come back into the fray. So SNISLA and HATTAB with this free kick. SNISLA, his first move wasn't completely controlled, and then he had to try and recover, and that gave the defence time to come out and shut him down. LANZAGORTA, can he find the way through for Mexico? Lovely change of direction from SNISLA to get away from Otero. But he followed it back well. You have to move the ball so quickly because the sound of it is constantly giving an indication to the defenders where you are. You have to be swift and positive and direct with your movements. All the defenders, as has been the case today on countless occasions, will just readjust and come back and make a tackle. LANZAGORTA, little bit of space. GUILLI again gets a foot to the ball and stands strong. BERKA thought he'd been tripped there. Referee said no. LANZAGORTA trying to switch it for Otero, who gets it. Found it again. HATTAB trying to make the challenge, but this is Otero. And his kick followed through into GHILLI. That was the call you heard. LANZAGORTA! What a strike! A goal to savour and remember for Mexico. Their first ever in the football five-a-side, and it thumped into the top corner. What an absolute belter. In off the underside of the bar. There's no goalkeeper going to save that. He took advantage of a little bit of hesitation after GHILLI had taken an unfortunate blow from Otero. But you play to the whistle, and my goodness, what a strike. So the restart for Morocco after that stunning goal. HATTAB looking for an immediate response here. More good defensive play by RANGEL. In by RANGEL again. Will Mexico seek to defend this lead with 8 minutes to go? SNISLA, sneaky dribbling. RANGEL knew where he was at all times and just kept with him, made it difficult for him to get forward with any pace. Looks like the Mexican plan is still to leave LANZAGORTA up the field. And Otero is caught beyond the ball as well here. BERKA, worth a go. But immediately Ortiz has looked for Otero, and Otero collecting it for Mexico. GHILLI. Arana was penalised, and his foul led to a bigger collision. Yeah, sent GHILLI into LANZAGORTA. Here's the goal again. What a cracker. Yeah, deserves all the hugs and the congratulation and the screaming from the Mexican support. Looks like LANZAGORTA might need to be replaced here. After that, I hope he's okay. Great moment for Jose de Jesus de Anda Garcia, the Mexican coach. Yeah, it was just the awkward fall, wasn't it? GHILLI down there, and then the ankle perhaps of LANZAGORTA would be the affected area there. So Pablo Millan, the Mexican captain, is on for the first time today with just under 7 minutes left. LANZAGORTA has taken a break. Rubicel de la Cruz is back on for Otero. Right, this is HATTAB on a run for Morocco. Millan straight in with a tackle. Now Arana. Long way out to try a shot. Here is HATTAB. Spotted a gap and worked out there was a gap and tried to get through it. Oh, beautifully timed by Arana there. SNISLA. Oh, he hit that well, and he got height on the shot again. De la Cruz. It's GHILLI again. The last Moroccan defender getting across to make a good challenge. De la Cruz on the run for Mexico again. Nice turn. And again, he got to the side of GHILLI, but couldn't move swiftly enough away from him and stay in contact with the ball at the same time. It's just the balance when it comes to shooting for De la Cruz. If he was as productive in front of goal as he was proficient at his dribbling, then he'd be a terrific, terrific player. He's good to watch as it is. Great potential, I think. HATTAB, lovely bit of skill to get away from Arana. But in stepped Millan for Mexico. Last 5 minutes underway here. A brilliant goal from LANZAGORTA has given Mexico the advantage, and they're set for 7th place here. Unless the African champions can find a route back into this. SNISLA, it's a tight angle. And I think the referees have said that he knocked down Millan rather than the other way around. Millan took in a couple of blows from his teammates after he'd been knocked over by SNISLA. And SNISLA's getting the yellow card. Yeah, it's because he's reached 4 personal fouls. If he commits another one, he won't be allowed to continue. Rangel being given the location of the two Mexican forwards from the goalkeeper. Not quite enough angle on the pass forward though for it to find De La Cruz. HATTAB, nice turn, but Arana heard the turn was coming and reacted to it. BERKA came in very decisively there. Arana. BERKA still at it. BERKA's almost lost the captain's armband here. It's become a captain's bracelet. Arana away from HATTAB. And through GHILLI. Oh, and GHILLI just kept him away from getting a strike on goal. Must have been getting the instruction from the guide to have a go there. Gustavo Arana. Confirmation of the yellow card for SNISLA. He's one foul away from being ejected. 2.5 minutes left, 2:23 in fact. Second goal for Mexico now would seal it. Arana. Swung hard but made no contact. SNISLA picking up pace away from Arana. HATTAB is with him. SNISLA will be urged to go himself though, I think. Goal kick in the end. Another young player at 17 years of age who by the time Tokyo 2020 comes around will have a whole lot more experience. Rubicel de la Cruz running out of time for its goal. And that's going to be a goal kick off the striker. 4 years ago, saw Turkey and Iran in the football five-a-side for the first time. They've both come back much stronger at these games. So one hopes for both of these teams it's just the beginning in Paralympic terms. Arana, oh, horrible clash of heads with Arana and GHILLI. Well, GHILLI's got the yellow card for it, but he's going to need some treatment too. We could do with a couple of doctors, really, I think. Players are encouraged to wear those protective headbands, but neither of the two concerned did there. Not that it would have helped Arana in particular, who sustained the blow underneath the chin. Playoff for 5th place is next between Turkey and Spain. And their tickets will be valid for that too. So a good crowd for both matches. 1 or 2 press seats empty there. Dear oh dear. Well, GHILLI has been terrific for Morocco today, full of courageous defending, well-timed tackles. The odd collision between attacker and defender is going to happen, but he was unfortunate. It was such a hard one. BERKA has gone into the book as well. In something of a flurry of yellow cards in this match. I can only assume that BERKA said something out of turn. And because GHILLI's foul was judged to be just that, Mexico are going to get a go from the 8-meter penalty mark, because that was the 4th team foul committed in this half by Morocco. So Rubicel de la CRUZ, who's tried and not succeeded yet, might have one last go here at scoring his first goal at the Paralympic Games. Haven't seen much of Martin Arteaga. An 8-meter penalty then for Mexico to seal victory in this game. Oh, what a fine finish! Rubicel de la CRUZ from 8 meters. Right into the corner. He's the first player to score from that spot at these games. And he sealed the win for Mexico. Hard and low, right into the corner. And SERRAKH couldn't get the right boot out in time. Great finish. Well, that is that for Morocco, I think. It's time for them maybe to score once, but twice, I think, is unlikely in the extreme. And you can't help but feel a little bit happy for Rubicel de la CRUZ, because he's provided lots of entertainment for the crowds. Maybe he's got time for one last run. SNISLA for Morocco, 40 seconds left. Good to see LANZAGORTA back out there after that injury he sustained. Last 20 seconds of this playoff for 7th place, which is going to go to Mexico. Their first win of the competition, thanks to the 8-meter penalty from de la CRUZ right into the corner. Didn't want to watch, but it was a joyful moment. Heartily appreciated by a good crowd. And, well, Morocco, who got a point in the group stage at least and have scored a couple of goals themselves, have contributed well to this tournament, but aren't going to be able to win this match. SNISLA from the corner. There was a gaggle of green there and no way through. And Mexico have won it. 7th place for Mexico. Morocco take 8th. 2 terrific late goals from the Mexicans. 1 each for their strike pair of LANZAGORTA and de la CRUZ. The first from LANZAGORTA will be replayed many a time. And Morocco will finish in 8th place. Mexico takes 7th. They've won this one by 2-0. Well, 50% possession each. Morocco had some good chances in the first half, got close to goal, and SNISLA hit the post, didn't he? Midway through the second half. But LANZAGORTA with an absolutely cracking strike. Worthy of winning any game, frankly. And De La Cruz getting his first goal with an 8-meter penalty, which he struck beautifully right into the corner. And the Mexican team getting a terrific hand from this crowd. You just sense with each match the appreciation for the skills of these athletes gets deeper and deeper. Great camaraderie between the players too, after what was a pretty hard-fought contest.